But do you like to have interactions with people throughout the day, like a lot of interactions? Is that how you get your battery charged? Well, then you need to figure out a job that's not going to have you staring at a computer screen all day. That is going to be awful. Or maybe that sounds like heaven to you. Like, oh my gosh, yes, please park me in a cubicle, or let me work from home where I don't have to talk to anybody, all day long, and is wonderful. Great. Know that about yourself. Be okay with it, and then go and find yourself a cybersecurity job where that is going to be your experience. So, but the issue is, how do you know what your work preferences are? Jason, what's your work preference? Would you rather have a lot of interaction with people, or would you rather just be left alone? Do you have a preference like that?
Yeah, so this is the weird thing about me. I think some people are like this. They have the cognitive dissonance of what they think they want and what they actually want. For me, I always think like, I don't like people. I want to be left alone. Leave me in my quiet little corner and I'll just do my work. And I work fine that way. I'm up here in my studio. I lock the door. I can sit here for 8 hours, knock out a bunch of work, and be perfectly fine. And I would always think that I hated being in environments where there's other people and I'm running around all day. But when I worked at the National Security Agency, I had a choice between two different positions. One was sit in front of a computer all day, going through logs and doing log analysis as a cybersecurity analyst. And the other one was working as a director of information assurance operations, which was basically the head of a team inside the SOC. And I ended up taking that job. And when I did that job, I was running around from meeting to meeting. We were doing problem solving. It was new challenges. And I found that those 12-hour shifts felt like it went by in 2 hours because there was just so much going on. And at the end of the shift, I was exhausted. But like during the shift, it was a lot of fun because I was getting to do all these new and interesting challenges as opposed to just going through the same logs every single day. And I wouldn't have thought that would have been a job I would have enjoyed, but I really did enjoy it, even though it was kind of exhausting. So sometimes it's kind of counter. Whereas when I sit there and do log analysis for 8 hours, I just feel exhausted the whole time. Like, look at my watch, like, is my 8-hour shift over? But like, I don't feel drained at the end of it. So I don't know. Sometimes you got to push yourself as well. But yeah, it's kind of unique because my wife thinks I don't tend to be a people person. Being at like large parties and stuff kind of drains me, but I can do it. And then when I'm done, I'm like, okay, let me just stay at home for the next day or so and recuperate. And I have fun while I'm there, but it is kind of a draining thing. And so, if I had to do that every day, 5 days in a row, it would probably wipe me out.
Yeah.
How about you, Kip? Are you more introverted or extroverted, or what fuels you?
So I want to take a moment and define those terms. I think it's really important because the popular interpretation of an introvert is that they're socially shy, and that's not really true. An introvert, really all that means is that you get energized by being alone. You get refreshed by being alone. An extrovert gets energized and refreshed by being with other people. So when you put me with a lot of people, it drains my batteries. I can't recharge fast enough, and so my energy levels go down. If you put an extrovert alone, their energy levels are going to go down because they get energy by being with other people. So that's all it means. And I'm definitely an introvert, and that's what I heard you say too. Because we can be with and around other people, but we just can't keep our energy levels at a high level, or we certainly can't make them higher over time by being with other people. So I absolutely, when you said, yeah, I'll be around a lot of people, but then leave me alone for a day because I gotta recover, I'm like, yep. I resemble that.
When you came and visited me down here in Puerto Rico, we spent a week together, and I noticed that the first day you and we kind of had high energy. By day 5, both of us were just kind of like, all right, man, I'm so glad Kip's getting on the plane today. I'm getting rid of him. Like, I had a great time. It was wonderful, but like, it's 5 days in a row. I'm ready for you to leave. I want to go back and hide in my little hole for another day or two.
You gotta go,
and then
man.
I'm ready again.
So one thing that I did, and I want to pick up on a comment that you made a moment ago, because I think it's a really good one, which is, even if you're the kind of person who likes to be alone, it may not be good for you to be too alone. And so I want to tell you a quick story about what I did. I decided early on in my career that I wanted to be a chief information security officer. I thought that was a good goal for me, and I did end up becoming a CISO. But what I learned along the way was that the job was much more people intensive job than I realized that it would be. Well, so I had to make a decision. I either needed to figure out how to be around people more, or I needed to not be a CISO anymore. And so that was a really useful self-discovery. Well, what I decided to do is I said, you know what? I really, really do like this job. So I want to see if I can increase my stamina. I want to see if I can figure out how to be around people longer. In other words, can I strengthen my muscles around being with people and make my energy levels last longer? And so I did a little bit of research and I said, I'm going to give this a try, and it worked. And so these days, even though I am an introvert and even though I do need to recover from after being around people a lot longer, I have so much more stamina for being around people than I ever did before. So I just want to say, and that was a great choice. I'm really glad I decided to do that. And so if you're thinking about that, I just want to put it out there. It's possible. You might want to do it.